Hello, my friend.
Hello, the lovely Julie.
Uh,
So good to see your face today.
you too. Yeah, you too. How are things in Austin?
Well, the sun is shining, the birds are singing. Um, we're told to wear masks
Mhm,
if you're outside for anything other than exercising.
mhm.
So it's quiet, except for the walkers, and they walk by my window. I see them all day long.
Mm.
I enjoy it, but little Milo, the dog, doesn't like having so many people in his smelliverse.
Defending the castle.
The castle. How about there? How are things in Arizona?
Yeah, it's beautiful and sunny. Can tell every day we're inching up a little bit warmer down here in the metro
Yeah.
Phoenix area. So it's a reminder that summer is on our heels. It's coming quick. For us, April is the month where everything is blooming and the cactus are gorgeous because they have these perfectly little perched flowers that almost look like they
Oh,
artificially, plucked them on. And so everything starts to look really pretty. And then we know, like, as soon as we get into May, like, everything's gonna start
oh.
fading, and we as we inch up and get warmer and warmer. So yeah, it's the cycle of life, baby.
And isn't it amazing that cycle just keeps on moving at the speed and pace that it's designed to?
Absolutely.
And it's up to us to try and adjust to this new way of being.
Mhm. And to find the beauty in it. That's for me. There's something about the beauty. I don't know if I shared this with you, but you know my kind of routine of finding a word for my year, and I've done that for years of choosing what my word is. And my word actually came to me a different way for the first time, which was actually a phrase in my meditation right before New Year's. The like this sort of disembodied message I got, which was, you don't need a word, you need to learn to walk the beauty way.
Oh,
And that became my, like, what is that all about? And so of course sent me to Google, like, that sounds familiar but I don't know why feeling. And it's actually a Native American poem, The Beauty Way. And so as I read that, it was like, it's just that it's become my mantra, sort of, beauty is above me, beauty below me, may I walk with beauty beside me. um, and so seeking out things that are beautiful every single day has become like a little, like, my little play kind of thing I do for myself. And this morning on my walk, I cut through a church parking lot to get to this park area that would then get me onto the path that I was going to walk. And I realized there were these gorgeous rose bushes blooming over on the side of this church that nobody would see or enjoy because nobody is going to church these days.
oh.
And I was like, well, I need to go over there and, like, admire these beautiful roses. And as soon as I got just like within 6 feet, social distancing feet, of these rose bushes, the scent was just intoxicating. It was like they put on their best show and released their perfume because they were being sort of, like, acknowledged, being being seen. It was just this
Mhm.
moment of sort of like,
Isn't that interesting? They were craving connection,
yes,
and they
just,
showed their appreciation.
yeah, it was really something. It just made me laugh out loud and just sort of just take in that moment in this very sweet sort of way, because they really were exquisite. I mean,
Yeah.
just the blooms were just beautifully formed, and that scent was something else. It was so powerful. I actually did a Marco Polo video of myself in front of these bushes and sent them out to my family group. Like, okay, so I'm out on this walk and you guys aren't going to believe this, and kind of, told them the story.
Oh.
Yeah. So that is sort of that is something I hold in my day, of trying to walk with that intention of seeking beauty in my world. And it can be the simplest things, like rose bushes in a church parking lot. Yeah.
This, I think, Julie, is an example of one of the things I've been thinking about, of what are the things I want to hold on to in this time of slowing down when we pick up our pace again. But holding on to some of these things. So this finding beauty around the corner, and then taking a few moments to be with that beauty.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to say that's beautiful. All pun intended. And I have to tell you, Julie, this is the second conversation where the Native American perspective of beauty and this poem has come up the second time this week.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
You're the second person to talk to me about beauty from this perspective.
I guess it is time of things have been slowed down to the point that maybe our skill of observation is being called forward again in a different way. Because I am just loving the things that people are posting on the social media platforms that are beautiful.
That are beautiful.
And that are surprising. Like today, a grade school teacher of my youngest daughter, who, was her kindergarten and first grade teacher, posted a eagle's nest in the top of a saguaro cactus that is the first bald eagle sighting in kind of the Southwest, this area, in a record number of years. And so that was a really kind of unusual, cool thing. The pictures of wildlife in the national parks that are feeling more comfortable of coming out because they're not competing against humans,
Yep.
is just delightful. It's really fun to see those things as well. So yeah, I think we are hungry for beauty without even knowing we've been hungry for that.
Well, and we're creating space for beauty to be seen again. We're not so blind because we have so much coming at us, that when we have so much coming at us, we don't see what's all around us. And so we've taken all of these distractions and blinders off, and there it was. It's always been there. But now we're seeing those things that we were too busy or too distracted, or we had so many choices of where to put our eyes, our mind, our attention.
Right.
Yeah, noticing. And I've been grateful for the little things like the sidewalk messages. They're everywhere now. And I see kids creating games on the sidewalk, and I find myself wanting to participate in whatever. There was one recently where they had created waves in the ocean, and the directions were you had to jump over the waves.
Oh, that's clever. That's
Yeah.
cute. Yeah. I was imagining you in a game of hopscotch.
There's lots of those, but they're getting creative with the games they're putting out.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Well, what in all of this being able to see beauty, I'm wondering what beautiful poem you were able to see this week.
Well, I have a good one for you. It's a little on the long side, but I thought, you know what? We have nothing but time. And it's special. It's very special to me. And I will be really curious to know if you remember hearing this poem at a very profound sort of collective uh, gathering time in our country. So I will take you back to, let me make sure I've got the year right, 1993.
Oh my.
We would have heard this poem being recited by the author if we had watched or attended the inauguration of Bill Clinton as president.
Oh
Date.
yes. I think I know.
All right. So that is the poem that sort of found me because I remembered um, actually the other morning when I was waking up, this poem sort of floated into my remembering because it touched me so deeply. I think I was, that's 20 some years ago. And I remember it was the first time I had really been introduced to the author of this poem, who is Maya Angelou. And first of all, she's a force of nature, but
Yes.
it was so, her presence was so audacious and
Yeah.
just powerful. And I wanted to know more about her. And I don't even remember at that time how I found out, but I actually ordered the little inauguration book of that poem bound. And I can't even remember like how I ordered it. It wasn't like you could find it online. So I don't remember, but it drove me to, I've got to own that poem. I've got to like know more about this.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh, that poem speaks volumes to where we find ourselves today. So,
I remember this was the first inauguration that my husband and I were together. And my husband his family is from Arkansas. So this was a really big deal, but it was the first one that we experienced together. And it was a bonding time for the two of us.
cool.
So,
Good.
okay.
All right, so I had to put my glasses on because I got to be able to read this. It's a lot. So the poem is called On the Pulse of Morning. Just love that. And it's by Maya Angelou, and I'm going to get to it because it's a beautifully, I'm going to let you go ahead and get us grounded and rooted.
So I brought the root bowl with us.
Oh,
I
sweet.
I was feeling the need for some grounding today.
Okay, perfect.
So this lovely bowl is just going to accompany, maybe I'll do a nice strike and invite everyone to settle in. A nice easy breath in and out. And allow the sounds and the vibrations to root you down into Mother Earth. And to open your heart to hearing this beautiful poem.
On the pulse of morning, a rock, a river, a tree, hosts to the species long since departed, mark the mastodon, the dinosaur, who left dry tokens of their sojourn here on our planet floor. Any broad alarm of their hastening doom is lost in the gloom of dust and ages. But today, the rock cries out to us clearly, forcefully, come, you may stand upon my back and face your distant destiny, but seek no haven in my shadow. I will give you no hiding place down here. You, created only a little lower than the angels, have crouched too long in the bruising darkness, have lain too long, face down in ignorance, your mouths spelling words armed for slaughter. The rock cries out today, you may stand on me, but do not hide your face. Across the wall of the world, a river sings a beautiful song. Come rest here by my side. Each of you, a bordered country, delicate and strangely made proud, yet thrusting perpetually under siege. Your armed struggles for profit have left collars of waste upon my shore, currents of debris upon my breast. Yet today, I call you to my riverside. If you will study war no more, come, clad in peace, and I will sing the songs the Creator gave to me when I and the tree and the stone were one. Before cynicism was a bloody sear across your brow, and when you yet knew, you still knew nothing. The river sings and sings on. There is a true yearning to respond to the singing river and the wise rock. So say the Asian, the Hispanic, the Jew, the African, the Native American, the Sioux, the Catholic, the Muslim, the French, the Greek, the Irish, the rabbi, the priest, the Sikh, the gay, the straight, the preacher, the privileged, the homeless, the teacher. They hear, they all hear the speaking of the tree. Today, the first and last of every tree speaks to humankind. Come to me here beside the river. Plant yourself beside me here beside the river. Each of you, descendant of some passed on traveler, has been paid for. You who gave me my first name, you, Pawnee, Apache, and Seneca, you, Cherokee Nation, who rested with me, then forced on bloody feet, left me to the employment of other seekers, desperate for gain, starving for gold. You, the Turk, the Swede, the German, the Scot, you, the Ashanti, the Yoruba, the Kru, bought, sold, stolen, arriving on a nightmare, praying for a dream. Here, root yourselves beside me. I am the tree planted by the river, which will not be moved. I, the rock, the river, I, the tree, I am yours. Your passages have been paid. Lift up your faces. You have a piercing need for this bright morning dawning for you. History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived. And if faced with courage, need not be lived again. Lift up your eyes upon the day breaking for you. Give birth again to the dream. Women, children, men. Take into the palms of your hands. Mold it in the shape of your most private need. Sculpt it into the image of your most public self. Lift up your hearts. Each new hour holds new chances for new beginnings. Do not be wedded forever to fear, yoked eternally to brutishness. The horizon leans forward, offering you space to place new steps of change. Here, on the pulse of this fine day, you may have the courage to look up and out upon me, the rock, the river, the tree, your country. No less to Midas than the mendicant, no less to you now than the mastodon then. Here on the pulse of this new day, you may have the grace to look up and out and into your sister's eyes, into your brother's face, your country, and say simply, very simply with hope, good morning.
Julie, something stirred inside of you when you heard this. It stirred enough that you sent away for the pamphlet.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about what stirred, what awakened?
I think that it was a time in my life where I had young children. And again, I think it was probably a historical time of transitions and changes. And, maybe fear is a little strong, but concern about the direction our world was heading in and what kind of world, what kind of world was I participating in on behalf of this next generation and then the generations kind of to follow.
Hmm.
So I think that was probably kind of swirling in me. And I think also it was a powerful woman invited to deliver this address at a time where I was, being called into sort of, stepping back into more of a role as a professional working woman in a very male dominated sort of environment that I was in, and like longing for mentorship, strong women leadership, sort of. And so I think I was touched by her very much in delivering this beautiful poem that she had written. Like I wanted to be in that. I wanted to like sit at her feet and like be her student. I had that sort of reaction to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as the years kind of evolved and the Oprah Winfrey phenomenon that was at the time, and finding out that she and Maya Angelou were like kindred spirits and best friends. It's like, oh, I want to be in their world, I think that had a big impact on me. But the words of this poem just, as I was reading it, I was getting choked up. Powerful, powerful story about, sort of like, you will be long gone, but I will remain. And it's sort of, that imagery was very powerful, that, our humanness is creating a lot of this drama that does not necessarily need to be. And the rock, the river, and the tree will be just fine without us. But we are not fine without what they can do for us, what they provide for us. Yeah. And I think that feels symbolic. And
because for me, it also brought up images that are reflected today, that it's not an I society, it's a we. And what I do affects the greater, and it affects everybody. And this remembrance that it is not an I, it is a we. um, and it's not just us as the human race, it's nature. um, and we keep destroying nature, but nature's going to save us.
Right.
Yeah. What a remembrance, Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really pleased that, I of course have a bunch of my books and stuff in storage, and so I have seen that little poem booklet fairly recently, like maybe less than 6 months ago. And
Mhm.
as I was like sorting through books to sort of, give away, what was I gonna keep, um, that one went in the key. Like, it's like I looked at it, and it's just this little small kind of white, really nice kind of white, linen covered bound poem. That's all it is. But the leafing of the title is in like gold, and so it just feels precious. It just has that sort of quality of precious. It's like, nope, that stays. I reread it, and then I put it in the box with my favorite books that I wanted to keep.
Mhm.
So it was easy to go online and find it. Yeah,
And we'll put it in the comments
yeah,
for everybody to be able to read along and read again and again.
yeah. They're potent. It's a powerful poem when you just really take it sort of stanza by stanza and just let that force in. That you know the words that she was speaking. It's like everything old is new again. We are again.
Again.
It's like, come on, we're up against this again. Do we really, as a collective, do we want to be better? Do we want to do better? All the big questions are sort of coming up right now for all of us in so many ways.
And here we are, back in community with the tree
Yeah, exactly. The
and the
wisdom tree.
lessons from the tree.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
ancient mineral world that is going to just remain. The rock, the river, that concept that you can never step into the same river twice. The river will continue to make its adjustments, but it will keep on keeping on.
Keep on, keep on.
Yeah.
Yeah, more lessons and beauty. Back to where we started today with beautiful, um, and how beautiful is not so much about how we look, but it really is about how we show up in the world and how we move through the world. Thank you, Julie.
My pleasure, my friend.
Bring us out.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
My pleasure. You're up next.
And we'll see everybody next time.
All right.